Apple just did the most Apple thing ever with the brand new iPhone 17e. We've been waiting for this budget powerhouse for months, and every single leak promised us one massive upgrade, the dynamic island. Well, spoiler alert, it is nowhere to be found. That's right, the notch is officially surviving in 2026. But before you get frustrated and click away, you need to hear the rest of the story, because Apple just made a move that changes the value calculation for every single smartphone buyer in America. Visually, the 17e looks like a clone of the iPhone 16. Same dimensions, same 6.1-inch screen, and unfortunately, the same 60 Hz refresh rate. But here is where things get insane. Apple just handed us a massive win in the wallet department. Are you sitting down for this? The base model now starts at 256 gigabytes of storage. And the crazy part? They didn't increase the price at all. It still starts at just $599. To put that in perspective, last year you had to fork over an extra $100 to get that much space. In a world where storage prices are skyrocketing, getting double the base storage on a budget iPhone is nothing short of a miracle. But the upgrades don't stop at the storage. Apple finally listened to our biggest complaint. MagSafe is officially here. Leaving this off previous budget models was a terrible move, but seeing those glorious magnets inside the 17e is a breath of fresh air. This means you can finally snap on all your favorite accessories, and your wireless charging speed just got doubled to 15 watts. It's a massive quality of life upgrade that makes this budget phone feel a lot more premium. Now, let's talk about the raw power under the hood. This thing is packing the A19 chip. Even though it's a slightly scaled-back version of what's in the Pro models, it is still an absolute spaceship. It is literally twice as fast as the iPhone 11. Whether you're gaming or using the new Apple Intelligence AI features, this CPU is complete overkill. Plus, they didn't cheap out on the durability. You're getting the brand new Ceramic Shield 2 glass, which is insanely tough. We're talking about a screen that can go months without a case or protector and still not show a single micro scratch. Of course, Apple had to cut some corners to keep that $599 price point. The cameras are effectively the same hardware as last year, and we're still stuck on Wi-Fi 6 instead of the newer standards. And yes, the lack of a 120 Hz display hurts when you look at the competition from Samsung and Google. So, here is the bottom line. If you refuse to leave the Apple ecosystem and you're tired of running out of space for your photos and apps, 256 gigs for $599 is a steal. It's the most storage per dollar Apple has ever offered. Pre-orders kick off on March 4th, and they start shipping on March 11th. The question is, are you snagging the 17e for that massive base storage, or is the lack of a dynamic island a deal breaker for you? Apple has officially broken the price barrier for high-capacity phones, and the budget market will never be the same. The only thing left to decide is, are you sticking with the notch for one more year? Something strange just happened in the smartphone world. For the first time in a long time, a budget iPhone might actually feel like a serious deal. Not a watered-down phone. Not a leftover design. But a device that could quietly shake up the entire mid-range market. And it all starts with one number. $599. That is the rumored starting price of the new iPhone 17e. And at first glance, that price might not sound shocking. Apple has offered entry-level iPhones around this range before. But this time, something is very different. Because for that same price, Apple may be doubling the base storage. Instead of the old 128GB starting point, the new model could begin with a massive 256 gigabytes. That single change alone could completely transform the value of Apple's most affordable iPhone. Think about it for a moment. Storage prices have been climbing everywhere. Apps are bigger. Games are heavier. Photos and videos take up more space than ever before. People constantly run into the same annoying problem, the dreaded storage full message. Now imagine buying a phone where that problem disappears for most users. 256 gigabytes means thousands of photos, hours of 4K video, dozens of large apps and games. And still plenty of room left. For a lot of people, that is the sweet spot. But that is only one piece of the puzzle. Because inside this phone, Apple is reportedly placing a brand new processor. The same powerful architecture used across the next generation of iPhones. The Apple A19 chip. This chip is expected to bring significant performance improvements compared to older devices. Apps will open faster. Games will run smoother. Everyday tasks will feel almost instant. And if you are upgrading from something older, like an iPhone from 5 or 6 years ago, the difference could feel unbelievable. In fact, compared to devices like the iPhone 11, the performance jump could feel like stepping into an entirely different era of technology. Everything will respond faster. Scrolling feels smoother. Editing photos happens instantly. Switching between apps becomes effortless. For many users, that alone makes the phone worth considering. But Apple did something else that people have been begging for. They finally brought back MagSafe. For anyone who loves Apple accessories, this is huge. MagSafe lets you snap chargers, wallets, stands, and battery packs directly onto the back of the phone using magnets. It sounds simple, but once you start using it, it becomes incredibly convenient. Wireless charging becomes easier. Accessories attach instantly. The whole ecosystem just works. Previous budget models skipped this feature, which frustrated many users. Now it appears to be returning. And that change does more than add convenience. It also improves wireless charging speed. Instead of the slower wireless charging found on older models, the new phone could support faster magnetic charging that feels much closer to the premium iPhone experience. Now let's talk about the design. If you were hoping for a completely new look, you might need to adjust your expectations. Because visually, the phone will likely look very familiar. The body design appears similar to the previous generation, with a 6.1-inch display and the same classic notch at the top of the screen. Yes, the notch is still here. Some people were expecting Apple to move this model to the newer dynamic island design. But according to current information, that upgrade may not arrive yet. And that decision might surprise some fans. But Apple often saves certain visual upgrades for its higher-end models first. So while the design might look familiar, the real improvements are happening inside. And that brings us to durability. Apple is reportedly giving this phone the latest generation of its tough display protection. The new version of ceramic shield glass. This material is designed to resist scratches and cracks far better than traditional smartphone glass. For people who use their phones every day without a case, that extra durability can make a big difference. Now let's talk about cameras. This is one area where Apple seems to be playing it safe. The phone will likely feature the same main camera system as the previous generation. That means it should still capture sharp photos, good video, and reliable portraits. But it may not include some of the advanced camera features found on Apple's flagship devices. For casual photography, social media, and everyday memories, it should still perform very well. However, if you want multiple lenses, extreme zoom, or advanced cinematic video features, those will probably remain reserved for the more expensive iPhone models. So this phone focuses on balance. Solid performance. Strong storage. Useful features. And a price that stays within reach for more people. But here is where things get really interesting. Because the competition at this price point is fierce. Phones like the Google Pixel 10a and the Samsung Galaxy S25 FE are also fighting for the same group of buyers. And those devices offer some impressive features. Some have higher refresh rate displays. Some have additional camera lenses. Some offer larger batteries. So Apple had to choose carefully where to compete. Instead of chasing every spec battle, Apple focused on the things many users care about most. Performance. Storage. Build quality. And the power of the Apple ecosystem. For someone who already uses a Mac, an iPad, or AirPods, staying inside that ecosystem can be incredibly convenient. Messages sync instantly. Files transfer easily. Devices connect automatically. Everything just works together. And for many people, that experience matters more than anything. The hardware feature. Now here is the moment everyone is waiting for. Availability. Reports suggest pre-orders could begin very soon, with shipping shortly after. Which means this device could appear on store shelves faster than many people expect. And when it does, it may quietly become one of the most popular iPhones Apple sells this year.